Hi, my name is Bethany Goodine, and I currently work as a biologist for a consulting firm in Fredericton, New Brunswick.
Hi, I'm Brittany Cormier. I work as a project lead for the Petty-Kodiak Watershed Alliance here in Moncton, New Brunswick, but working all across the Petty-Kodiak watershed.
My name is Maddie Carr, and I'm a 2018 alumni of the Envirothon New Brunswick program. I joined Envirothon originally in grade 8 as a junior member and competed all throughout high school. And I love the program so much that when I did graduate, I actually served as the co-advisor for my high school's team in Stanley, New Brunswick for 2 years until 2020.
Hello, my name is Darlene Elward. I am the project manager and interim executive director with the Petty-Kodiak Watershed Alliance.
I've been working in my current role since October of the past year.
I'll be graduating this spring from the University of New Brunswick with a Bachelor of Philosophy in Interdisciplinary Leadership Studies and a secondary major in Environmental Studies.
I was a student with the Petty-Kodiak Watershed Alliance in the summer of 2018, where I got a lot of great experience working as a nature interpreter. And I worked on all the projects really that summer, and it drove me back here. After I graduated the next year, I applied and received a position to become the project lead for the water quality and green infrastructure projects.
And I work for about over 15 years in the environmental field, and I've been working 4 years with the Petty-Kodiak Watershed Alliance.
A normal day in my current role includes writing technical reports, researching, and contributing to environmental impact assessments. The types of projects that I'm working on are environmental impact assessments, contaminated sites monitoring, and species at risk assessments. In the summer months, I'll be spending more time in the field collecting wetland data and doing vegetation and bird surveys.
My favorite part of the job is actually being outside for the majority of the year. I mean, spring, summer to fall, we have a lot of field activities that keep us going for all of our projects. And so that definitely has to be the favorite part of my job.
Since beginning at the University of New Brunswick, I've gotten the chance to do lots of outdoor field work, which I've really enjoyed and which the Envirothon program really prepared me for.
The normal day at work for me in the office setting, I guess I assist in overseeing some of the administrative tasks, which includes some of the hiring, the health and safety training, project applications, budget, and reporting. And I also help develop some of the educational tools and raise awareness on watershed conditions. I help create and maintain some of the partnerships with landowners and stakeholders within our projects.
Something that I would never go into the field without is water and snacks. You never know what's going to happen out there.
The one thing I would never go in the field without, and what I try to encourage my colleagues to do as well, is bring water. A lot of water.
You'll never see me without my sunglasses, my gear, plenty of water, and my lunch in the field.
My favorite thing about working outside is seeing all the interesting plants and animals. I like to see rare plants and beautiful things like fall leaves and fungi while I'm working.
One of my favorite things about working outside is definitely the serotonin. I'm just in a better mood when we're doing field work, constantly doing outside work, some sort of another. You feel like your body is getting the exercise it needs. I love a good day under the sun, no matter what we're doing, even if it's really hard labor work, which does happen every once in a while. But I mean, that would definitely be my favorite part of being outside. But I don't want to, feel bad about office work too, because it is pretty great to do some really great work, skill building stuff in the winter and writing the reports and data analyzation.
My favorite thing about working outside is that it brings a lot of diversity in my surroundings. I get to see all these wonderful places. It brings me serenity and pure joy just to be outside.
My favorite subjects in high school were math and biology.
My favorite subject in school definitely goes by like elementary, middle school, high school. Elementary, nap time, obviously. But once I got into university, my favorite courses were definitely ones that got me engaging with climate change education, climate change research, and a lot more of environmental policies. That was definitely where I fit in best in university.
It's not just one subject that I liked in school. I actually liked a few. So some of my favorites were biology, geography, and art.
Growing up, my favorite subject in school was English, actually, and I always thought that I would be like an editor or a journalist or something that involved writing or reading. But it wasn't until I joined Envirothon that I really discovered that my passion lies a lot in environmental conservation and I think more importantly maybe public outreach in the environmental sector.
Throughout middle school and high school, I thought I'd become a dentist or a pharmacist until I joined the Envirothon team in high school, when I decided I would go into forestry.
I loved animals so much. I wanted to become a veterinarian so I could help these animals. So it does kind of make sense that I am where I am. Even though I'm not healing animals, I am trying my best to help wildlife through our different projects, whether that's, you know, doing species at risk surveys. It's just a different flavor of the same thing, really.
As a kid, I wanted to be many things, so not just one thing, but the one that sticks out the most to me was that I wanted to be a biologist that studied whales and dolphins, which today is not the case, but is very still in the same kind of environmental field. I ended up studying as a limnologist, studying, monitoring how to improve the health of our watershed, which is fantastic.
Right after grade 12, I attended the Maritime College of Forest Technology and got a diploma in forest technology. Right after college, I started working as a forest ranger, and while I was working as a forest ranger, I realized my true passion was about the environment and wildlife. So that winter, I started at the University of New Brunswick, where I got a Bachelor of Science in Environment and Natural Resources. After UNB, I went back to my job as a forest ranger, where I spent 2 years fighting fire, collecting wildlife and forestry data until I started in my current role.
My longer term career goals currently are to explore the environmental nonprofit sector. Most of the summer jobs that I've held have been in this sector, working with youth or vulnerable ecosystems, and really employing the knowledge that Envirothon gave me and my university experience has only boosted to try to make the environment in the world a slightly better place.
I went to school first to become a journalist. In Halifax, I went to the University of King's College. I switched gears and did a Bachelor of Arts in International Development, International Relations, more of the political science, and then I took a break for a few years, came back to it, and went to Mount Allison University, which I was really engaged into their environmental science classes. And from there, I kind of amalgamated a multidisciplinary education in both political science and environmental studies.
I have a bachelor's degree, specialized in geography, and I also have knowledge in a diverse amount of fields, including biology, geomorphology, cartography, and geology.
What continues to motivate me is two things. What continues to motivate me in the environmental field in general is when younger girls and women reach out to me and ask about my career path and how I got to where I am and how they can do it too, and about the schools I've gone to and programs I've done, and say that, you know, there's other women interested out there in joining the forestry and environment fields. And what continues to motivate me in a career in environmental consulting is learning the ins and outs of field programs, environmental policies and regulations, so that I can help clients with all their environmental needs.
getting to see all the different streams and tributaries across our watershed to do sampling and to monitor with the YSI is really a joy in the summer and fall. And also getting down dirty and making rain gardens and doing different work with green infrastructure and getting to plant, you know, flowers and all these different indigenous species, that's pretty great too. So I would say both projects.
To improve like the quality of life, the quality of our community, the quality of our environment, I think that's what motivates me to continue.
Some examples of some environmentally oriented organizations that I've been lucky enough to work or volunteer with since beginning university include the Canadian Parks and Wilderness Society, Oceanwise, Waterlution, New Brunswick Nature Trust, the Under One Sky Indigenous Friendship Center, Market Greens Fredericton, and more. I enjoy this work so much and getting out in my community and being able to work in the environmental sector.
I never anticipated that I would become proficient in navigating environmental policy and regulations, but I find it very interesting.
So, I never anticipated that I would be counting poop for my job. So in the water quality monitoring project, we do our own bacteria samples and we get to analyze E. coli. So with using our QuantiTrace system, I get to go under a UV light and count the little cells that have E. coli in them because they grow and also glow purple. So I count poop for my job, yes.
I never anticipated doing or developing more in the health and safety training, I guess. That was a first for me, but I enjoyed it.
To date, my most exciting project that I've worked on includes a wetland delineation report that I completed because it was the first report that I got assigned myself as Bethany Goodine biologist.
My first rain garden was a serious career highlight for me. Holding my first brook floater in a stream was just incredible to see that little cantaloupe foot. As well as finishing my first final report in water quality and actually getting to make graphs and, you know, summarize the data that we actually went on the field to collect was such a weird and astounding feeling too. It's like this all came into something, like these lines, like we went and collected these things and monitored it. So yeah, these are definitely some highlights and I'm sure I could think of more.
In 2021, I was fortunate to receive the Leslie E. Bruce Environmental Scholarship for Future Leaders in the Field from the University of New Brunswick. I was also honored to be recognized by Starfish Canada as one of Canada's top 25 environmentalists under the age of 25 for all of my work and volunteer in the environmental sector. And I do strongly believe that Envirothon laid the foundation for me to win this award, as I never would have gone into the environmental nonprofit sector if it weren't for this amazing program.
I help some of the project leaders with their projects and activities. I lead the Species at Risk project, which mainly in the recent years has been on the brook floater, which is this little guy. It's a special concern freshwater mussel in our river system. You will work on your own at times, but I feel like the energy from this team is excellent. And working outdoors is another highlight of mine. I mean, there's no doubt about it. This kind of work will have this wonderful balance of both being indoors and outdoors. So, yeah.
I like to maintain a work-life balance by staying organized and scheduling times to both focus on work and focus on myself and my other responsibilities, such as exercising, walking my dog, and taking care of myself and my house.
In university, it can be really hard to find that balance between working and studying and just having life experiences, but I find something that always keeps me balanced is just being able to get outside. I took up jogging shortly after getting into university, and I do that a lot on the UNB woodlot, simply because it's a great way to clear my mind and get out in nature.
I do try and volunteer my time with other organizations, whether it's, you know, a food forest planting, a rain garden, or some gardening, things that I enjoy doing on my time off. So, and it is really nice to help other organizations as well.
I'd say in the summer, fall months, sometimes it feels like my work doesn't feel like work because I'm often more outside in those periods of the season. When it comes to the winter and springtime, I'm probably more indoors, so I try to, as much as possible, get outside and have all kinds of wonderful activities in the winter to keep myself active and, you know, I guess mentally sane.